The doors are open, the bell has rung, and the classes are filled. School is back open here at Soaring Heights Elementary. Tonight, I will talk to the principal about what it takes to keep this running so smoothly.
Plus, investors look into the cause of a plane crash in Grove, Oklahoma. And residents of Erie, Kansas again prepare for the possibility of the town's only grocery store shutting down.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin Public Schools start the new school year today. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. KOAM's Ty Parks was at Soaring Heights Elementary when the doors opened this morning and brings us the story.
Kind of exciting, kind of scary, mostly exciting.
The bell rings again at Soaring Heights Elementary and the students are back in class. All of this takes months of behind-the-scenes work.
Preparation for the first day is huge. So we start months in advance, planning out our master schedule, making sure that all students have equity to access and instruction. We also start setting goals together as a team to decide what we're going to focus on this year. And then the teachers start showing up several weeks in advance to prepare classrooms so that they're absolutely perfect learning environments for all of our kids.
Students file in, but today is about learning something different than math and science.
Today we are remembering what it means to be a student and that we have to share our building with over 500 people. So we're used to doing what we want when we want at home, but at school we have to remember that we have to share space. So today is all about remembering what our expectations at school to stay safe and to stay learning.
Teachers invest heavily in the future of their students.
So my teachers have leaned in very heavily into we want Soaring Heights students to be the leaders at East Middle School, and then we want them to be the leaders at the Joplin High School, and we want our kids to stay in Joplin and be community leaders in the future. So it is a big investment at our school.
Like a well-oiled machine.
My 5th year at Soaring Heights, and I have already had 5 teachers tell me this is our best first day ever, and it's not even midway through the day. So all of the practice paid off. Everybody feels very confident today.
I know people. You play games to get to know everyone and learn procedures and stuff.
At Soaring Heights, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Students are going to continue to relearn what it takes to share the building with more than 500 students, and then the classwork begins. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a hot day once again for us today. Just a little lower level of hotness across the region. We are going to stay in the lower 90s, pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year as we go through the rest of the week. But our humidity is a little bit lower than what we had on Monday and Tuesday, but much cooler, looking more likely from next Monday through next Thursday. Also some rain chances Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which we definitely need. Not much out there right now. There's been a couple little guys kind of going through Benton County, but pretty quiet for us tonight. We drop back upper 60s to near 70 degrees. As we go through the morning hours, we warm into the upper 80s to near 90 by the time we get into the afternoon, which is right about where we should be for this time of the year. 80s, 70s for us this evening, and we'll talk about that cooler air moving in here in just a bit.
Catching a few, federal authorities begin an investigation into a plane crash in Grove, Oklahoma this morning. Crash happened around 8:30 at the Grove Regional Airport. Although the investigation is underway, what authorities do know is a private plane landed at the airport, then flipped over onto its top. The owner/pilot of the fixed-wing single-engine plane suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The future of a city-owned grocery store in Erie, Kansas is up in the air again. The city purchased the Erie Market in 2020 with the goal of keeping a local store in town. 1 year ago, River Grocery LLC leased the store and took over operations. But staff have now been informed the company is going to cease operations by the end of August when River Grocery's 1-year lease with the city expires. Community members are now concerned about the future of the market and what it could mean for the area.
I guess if they have the money with the economy nowadays to drive to Schnute or Parsons to get groceries, then go for it. I don't. I'm on Social Security. I got hurt last year. I only have a little bit of money, so I try to do all my business in Erie.
We reached out to the owner of River Grocery LLC for a statement. He agreed, but we have not yet heard back from him. Our sports team heads to Carthage to get a preview of the Tigers' chances of success on the gridiron this season. Ben McLeish has that story coming up. But up first, what an overgrown yard could cost some folks.
Iola leader says it's time to clean up your yards. They say either you do it or they'll do it at your expense. I'm Lonnie Walton in Iola. I'll have that story coming up.
Clean up your yard or the city will do it for you and you'll be picking up the tab. That's the new warning from city officials in Iola, Kansas, who say they're fed up with repeat offenders ignoring yard cleanup rules. As KOIM's Lonnie Walton reports, after handing out fine after fine with little change, city leaders are now pushing for a tougher ordinance, one that would allow them to step in, clean up the mess, and send the bill straight to the homeowner.
Most of the stuff that's in the yard is not trash. We just need to find a place to put it.
Robin Evans is an Iowa resident. She says she's been getting a number of violations from the city about her yard. But Evans says she's going through some tough times.
We lost our shop last year. We moved everything from our house to our shop, and the building got bulldozed last year.
Evans says she's sick of the city giving her a hard time about her yard, but the city says they are too. They say they already have an ordinance in place, but it needs to be stricter.
We're adding to the ordinance a clause that will give the city the authority to go on the property and clean it up should the resident not comply with the court order.
I get that we need to clean up the trash. I understand that.
French says the offending resident will fit the bill if the city cleans their yard. And French says you better pay or else.
The debt will go on the property.
City manager Matt Ryder says this ordinance needs to pass.
We do have some properties that get fined and fined and fined, and they just aren't being cleaned up. And this gives us the teeth to actually do that.
Request an additional 10 days if they need it to clean up their property. So we're trying to continue to work with individuals.
They have been harassing us for 8 years since we moved here. Any little thing that we have on our property, they are constantly sending us letters. If he has his trailer in the yard, he gets a letter for it.
And the family says they're doing all that they can to get things back in order. They say any professional that's willing to help, they would gladly appreciate it. Reporting in Iola, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
The city manager says the ordinance goes before the council on Monday. He thinks the bill will have no problems passing. A little bit later, we're going to take you live to the Lamar Free Fair where the carnival just got underway.
And it's going to stay hot over the next few days, but maybe some cooler weather moving in. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be hot outside for us today, but just a little bit lower of a hot across the region, low to mid 90s. The humidity just a little bit lower compared to what we have seen over the past couple days. Looking outside right now, there's not a whole bunch going on. We have mostly sunny skies. We did get a few little random thunderstorms that popped up in our southern counties. You can see these drifting south and west out of the region, but there could be one or two isolated guys that try to pop up in southwestern Missouri. Let's go through time. Pretty calm tonight. We back down upper 60s to near 70. As we go through the morning, quick warm up, mid 80s by noon. We can't rule out an isolated guy that tries to pop up. As we get into the afternoon, we're looking at about highs 90, 91, 92 degrees. Once again, as we go into Thursday afternoon. Thursday night looks pretty good. Drop back mid 60s, so a little bit cooler, a little bit more comfortable. And then heading into Friday, high temps again, about 90 to about 92 degrees. Now on Saturday, we're going to get a front that starts to head in, so we'll see the clouds increasing once we get into Saturday morning. All right, 69 to start, 86 by noon. High temp on your Thursday, 92 degrees. Looks great. Outside, a great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking northeast, a little bit of a breeze out there, and we're going to see that again as we go through the evening hours as we drop back through the 80s, 70s, upper 60s, still upper 80s to near 90. We have some 90s down through northeastern parts of Oklahoma, but our humidity, it's lower than yesterday, but still dew point sitting into lower 70s, which makes it feel a little bit on the muggy side. All right, heat indices next couple days, they come down just a little bit. They're going to be close to our high temperature for us tomorrow, close to our high temperature once again on Friday. So it's still hot, it's just a little better hot. All right, so our big dome of high pressure, our heat dome, is now shifted toward the west. So you can see this northerly flow. So this is slowly kind of ushering in a little bit cooler air. Let's go into the weekend. That high continues to push off toward the west. And look at this northwest flow out of Canada. This will start to usher in a little bit cooler air as we go through, actually quite a bit cooler air as we go through early next week. Let's go ahead and break it down. We're going to go through your weekend first. We're looking lower 90s Saturday, isolated storm will pop up with our front rolling through. On Sunday, still upper 80s to near 90, but again, humidity is looking better. We get some rain chances. We're on the edge, so we got to keep our fingers crossed, but some rain chances on Monday, but we could be talking about upper 70s, 4 highs, Monday, Tuesday, possibly into Wednesday of next week, which would be fantastic. Still watching Hurricane Aaron, Category 2, which skirts the coastline of North Carolina, but thankfully won't make a direct landfall in the lower 48. 92s next 3 days. Pop-up storm Saturday. 88 Sunday, but 79 Monday, 78 Tuesday, lower 80s Wednesday, Thursday. Looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's time to get back outside.
Yeah.
I think. Thanks, Doug. Lamar, Missouri is outside. They're throwing a party of sorts right now. The 82nd annual Lamar Free Fair kicked off just not long ago, a few days ago, but the carnival kicked off tonight. Both the carnival and booths opened a few minutes ago at 6 o'clock this evening. This is a live image from the event at Constitution Square in downtown Lamar. Look at that shadow circling. If you want to get in on the fun, you should know the event runs through Saturday with a lot of things going on, livestock shows, exhibits, in addition to the carnival. Still ahead, New Heights football heads into the season with a new quarterback under Center Plus. Carthage football looks to replicate its successful 2024 season. Ben McLeish has those stories and more for us up next in sports.
Carthage football is coming off a successful season where the Tigers went 9-2 and reached the district championship game. Carthage will look to repeat that success in 2025, but we'll see lots of new faces this year. Only 2 starters return for Carthage on offense, but head coach John Guidey stresses that despite the new starters, the 2025 Tigers will retain their same identity.
To be honest, last year was last year. This is a brand new year, and we have new faces, and that's what makes every year a little bit different. I don't think you change too much as a coach from year to year. You want to keep things as consistent as possible from everything, from your summer workouts to your summer practices to your conditioning to even scheme-wise, as long as things are working.
But don't think this will be an inexperienced Carthage football team, because on the defensive side, 8 players with varsity experience return for 2025. That's huge for a unit that allowed less than 18 points per game last year. The Tigers will heavily lean on their experience and leadership.
Defensively, I think that starts with our guys up front. Landon Bland will be a 3-year starter for us at defensive end. Very athletic, nice, tall, lanky kid, fast, comes off the edge. Opposite him on the other side at defensive end is Braden Odell. Kind of the same way. You know, I thought Braden had an outstanding year last year. All 3 linebackers are back. Josh Hill at Mike Backer. We got Jordan Brunert at the Sam, and we've got Jet Dalton at the Will.
Carthage opens up its season on August 29th at home against Waynesville. New Heights football enters its 4th year in program history, looking to build off of its 5-5 record last season. But this year's team will look a lot different, with only 3 players on the roster in their junior or senior seasons. The Cougars are one of the youngest teams in the 4 states, and they'll have to learn fast. That's why head coach John Lucas is having his team focus on the fundamentals.
We're very young. This year we have 2 seniors, 1 junior, and the rest are sophomores and freshmen. So we're going to run basics. We need to be able to run the football, control the line of scrimmage, and that's an area of strength that we have this year, I do believe, is up front.
New Heights will look for its seniors to make a big impact on and off the field. One of those seniors is starting quarterback Corbin Cronenwet. This will be his first season under center, but he's started for the Cougars for multiple seasons.
Mindset going into each game is just being a leader, encouraging the guys, because they can, it's a team sport. We got to support each other as much as possible. Just be supportive and have fun while at it, because live life with no regrets.
Putting my hardest work in, because in the Bible it says, work everything with your heart. If you're your hardest, and that's just how this team operates. We got to give our hardest every practice.
The Cougars kick off their season on the road on August 29th against Rich Hill. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. The 30th edition of the Pigskin Preview is now live. You can scan the QR code on your screen, head to KOAMnewsnow.com/pigskin, or download our free KOAM News mobile app to view it. When you're here, you'll see logos for all of our teams in the preview, from Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and then our junior colleges and universities. You'll see quotes from coaches, schedules, season previews, and much more. And as the season starts, you'll find our live scoreboard to keep you updated on gameplay. You'll also find highlights as hit the ground running to area games. Well, that's a look at sports. We're back with more after this.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 tonight. Some good news heading into flu season. A lot of Americans could soon have the option to vaccinate themselves. We'll have details. Plus, we have some advice on saving money as you send those kids back to school. And we predict you'll love the story of the factory that makes a popular fortune-telling game. Those stories, a lot more, of course. It's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. As the school year kicks off, today students at George Nettles Elementary in Pittsburgh celebrated with a House of Dragon balloon popping party. Celebration is part of a redesign of the school's social, emotional, and character education program, drawing inspiration from the theme How to Train Your Dragon and Harry Potter. The kids were full of excitement as they discovered which of the 4 houses they'll belong to during their time at the school. Educators hope the program will give students a sense of community throughout their years at George Nettles.
It's so intimidating, especially for my students who may not speak the same language. They get to come in, and on day one, they have a family, they have a house, they have community. And for all students that, starting a new school or a new school year with new classmates, that can be intimidating, but to know, oh, my family's got my back, my house has got my back.
Through the program, students will have the opportunity to form deeper connections as they'll be grouped with classmates from all grade levels. Nice idea. Great way to get the school year off to a good start.
Absolutely.
The weather looking promising, Doug.
It is, especially once we get into next week, because we are right now, and hopefully this holds true, but we're looking at upper 70s to lower 80s. Now, the next few days, we're still into lower 90s, but at least a little bit cooler than what we've seen.
We'll take a little bit cooler. Thanks for joining us. We're going to see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.